Caleb. Bye, Caleb.
All right, so if you are going to be taking the minutes, you can say that basically we started at 3. And today is November 10th,
2 days after Election Day.
which wasn't as terrible as I thought. Could have been better, but
Yeah, well.
it wasn't quite
remains
as
to be
terrible.
Well,
Have to wait and see.
Yeah, and then basically, I didn't bring the minutes from last time.
Oh.
Did anybody bring the minutes from last time?
I did.
Okay.
I have them.
Because I forgot, I knew I forgot something. I was sending
Well,
emails and
I
printing.
kept,
yeah.
stuff kept coming. It was like, wait a minute.
Well, Charlie, did you get all that flurry of emails I sent?
Yes.
Good, yeah. Otherwise, I would have just brought paper copies, but Charlie's not here, so I had to make them digital, so. We're getting organized. And then basically just list who's here.
Already got that.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see.
The minutes from last meeting.
Oh, geez, don't tell me I didn't. Well, here you go. The more organized I am, the less organized I am. Nope. No, I had them with the agenda. And
That's not them?
no. No.
All right, so because we did not bring copies of the minutes from last time, we are going to postpone approving them till next time. So next meeting, we have to
December
approve
8th.
both of them, both,
December 8th, we have to approve October and November.
exactly.
Yeah.
And so you're saying December 8th is our next meeting, right? Okay.
Mm-hmm. That is so weird. I mean, you have no
Yeah,
idea.
I
how
did too.
wonderful.
I totally walked out of the house without them.
Well.
And, oh well.
We must be drinking the same water.
Right. All right, so since we have nobody from the public here, so we do not have to make space for them. We're going to postpone the minutes to next meeting to make sure that we all have them and look at them. Okay, so the first thing up here under old business, we have Roseanne giving us an update on the video situation.
Caleb left. I have to say that I am totally perplexed. I have never had this experience before of being absolutely ignored. And I sent another email to Jamie, and I got no response. And I actually sat next to her at a meeting of the Friends of the Council on Aging. I was sitting right next to her. She was in just for a short time
Right.
and then left. But I thought, well, maybe,
Right.
and then she left.
Yeah.
And I was with her all day at the polls, although we weren't working in the same precinct, but I knew her, I saw her. So I'm going to go with Plan B. I'm going to suggest Plan B, which Diana Lane had suggested, which would be to have a program on Channel 18, maybe with interviewing you and having you talk about
And-
what we do and
Make those links available.
and post the links at the end of the.
Okay, so if you want to talk to Dinah
Mhm.
and come up with some dates,
Mhm.
and let me know, and if those work, I'll be happy to do that.
I will. I was actually going to follow up, and I said, let me wait until the meeting to make sure that what I do is okay. Okay.
That might end up being a better idea,
Yep.
to make those videos available and
Yeah.
promote them.
Yep. And I will check to see, we have, like, if you go to the town website, you can click on the Harwich Energy Committee, and, we have a little part of the town website, that has our names and, blah, blah, blah. Let me check with the town to see if if we're allowed to post stuff like that
Yeah.
on our section of the website.
Right.
Mhm.
It may only be for like business, type of thing, but I'll check to see.
But to make it available,
Yeah.
that would be maybe something of value.
If we're, yeah, and one of Dinah's other suggestions was to go through the library, but I talked to Jamie, who's their tech person, and she said they only post things that are germane to the library.
Right.
So,
Yeah, and
So
I
I'll-
also talked to them,
Yeah.
thinking of HCAN, and they told me that they're shorthanded in that we should wait until the next summer because Emily Milan left.
Right.
She's working for the library now. She is teaching librarian at Monomoy.
Oh,
So they're very
she
shorthanded.
left Brooks?
Yeah.
So she's
So,
at Monomoy.
so they are changing everything at
Okay.
and apparently this woman Jennifer, who used to be the reference girl,
Oh, Jennifer Pickett.
yeah, she will take the position of Emily.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Okay, well, we won't bother the library for a little while.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we have to.
Oh
about
dear,
it.
that's, well,
Okay, so you,
it is
check
what
with-
it is.
You're gonna check about the dates for that. I'll check to see if we're allowed to put what we're allowed to put on our little section of the website.
Yes.
Not that anybody ever looks, but. Board of Selectmen, I got there late. They told me 6:30. They started at 6. And it was a very short agenda. I got there at 6:15, thinking I was early.
Yeah.
you
yeah,
know.
I know.
But it's okay. Julie Kavanaugh, she read the report and said everything was fine and
Gave
hunky-dory.
kudos to Glenn.
Yeah.
Talking about that, Valerie, I thought that delivery of your annual report might be a good opportunity for you to educate the Board of Selectmen. What I mean by that is maybe making a little emphasis here, a little emphasis there.
Right.
to-
Yeah, and I usually do that, but
Yeah.
not this time. So,
Well,
but
and-
we're going to be having things to come to the board often in the next few months if things go the way I think they're going to go.
Well, and
So-
also there were
Yeah.
two, Don Howell and Michael McCaskill were both not there.
They're not there.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was
yeah.
nobody was there.
Yeah.
So essentially, what you typed up
Was-
is what was presented, and it was presented by Julie. at
Right,
the meeting.
and
There was no
everybody said
comments.
it was wonderful.
Okay.
We had the few selectmen that were there,
Yeah.
doing
Yeah,
a great
Larry
job.
Valentine,
Yeah.
Julie, and Anderson.
And
that was
Mary
it.
Anderson.
Yeah, and Joe Powell. Powers. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so, okay, so I did not, these EEA public hearings, I did not tune into any of them. Did anybody else tune into any of them? Okay, so
Okay.
check. Nobody did that.
No.
I already spoke to Jackie, but I did send out a link to the Net Zero conference.
Yes.
That was held on October 28th. I was unable to do it live,
Yeah.
but you can click on the
Yeah,
link.
I was off Cape.
Yeah, so,
So-
but I've already looked, it's like 3 sections, and I've already watched the first section, very interesting.
They're always good.
So at your leisure, feel free to just look at that. It's kind of uplifting because it's stuff that's happening right here on the Cape. Okay, EV charging stations. Let's talk about that. So, thanks to Roseanne hooking up with Cindy and suggesting that we get together, Cindy and I met. Oh, by the way, Cindy Williams is the director of the Chamber of Commerce for Harwich.
And that was just a happenstance.
Right, you never know.
Yeah,
Never
well,
know. Well, she had mentioned a while back that she was interested in this.
right, and I
Yeah.
was in Harwichport, and
Yeah.
I said, let me stop in and see if Cindy's there, and she
Yeah.
was just finishing up a meeting, and I've known her for years, and she was very excited,
Good.
so.
So, and it just so happens that she had been approached by these people, the UpCon people.
Oh,
And this is a
Funny.
private company.
Private
this is a
company.
business.
Yeah, but they are local.
Good.
One of the guys that is in this company, do you know the gallery in Harwich Port, I think it's called the Nines?
Yes.
He's in this too. So they both live on the Cape, and so they're,
So, oh, wow.
yeah, so, interesting.
And what is the name of the person?
I know, she's Lauren D. Fernandez. I forget his name.
His name is Luther Bates.
Okay.
Luther
How do you
Bates.
spell Bates? B-A-T-E-S?
T-E-S, yeah. And,
And he's the owner.
yes.
Of
Now,
the Nines.
yeah, he and his wife.
Lauren D. Fernandez.
Yes, they own the gallery, which is a whole separate thing from this. But now they do have their address is Boston, but they don't just work on the Cape. I mean, they work regionally.
It's Route 28, right?
What?
Where the gallery is?
The gallery's on Route 28, yeah.
Yeah.
But the gallery has nothing to do with this. I mean, it's just a coincidence that they have his wife runs the gallery,
Oh, I see.
yeah.
And what's his position with EvCon? He's,
CFO.
ooh.
So, briefly,
It's all connected.
yeah.
Yikes.
So Cindy and I sat down earlier in the day, and she had some other concerns besides chargers, and one of them was, you probably read or heard in the news that they're concerned about downtown Howardsport at night, and the people are getting almost hit by cars, and
The whole safety lighting.
the whole safety thing. So, I'm helping Cindy pursue getting brighter streetlights just for that section of downtown Harwichport. Now, we're not allowed ever to put up more streetlights because it's a state road. I mean, we don't control that,
Valerie,
Yeah?
if you're going to change the streetlights, you should be looking at LED streetlights.
They are already LED, Charlie.
Yeah.
They should just point down to the ground. They should not go up in the air.
Right. Right, and they are already LED, they were switched over years ago, but what we're looking for in Harwichport, just the downtown area, is to try to get, I know it's counter to the dark skies issue, but to try to get brighter lights, and yes, we would want them to be designed to make all that light go down, and very little of it to go up.
Because of the birds.
Because of everything, right?
And
But
hurricanes.
if we could, and we don't know yet, Link Hooper emailed me, and he's going to look into it because he's kind of in charge of that part. We don't we own the pole, we own the lights, but we don't service them. That's done through a contracting company, and I believe Barnstable County bids for it for all the towns, and then this company comes, and they're the ones that come and change out the light bulb if it breaks, or that type of thing. So Link is going to look into seeing if it's possible to get lights that are a little bit brighter, just for that section of Harwichport where they're having the problems. Also, I told Cindy to get in touch with Cape Light Compact to see if they can work with some of the businesses to help them during business hours to light their facades a little bit better. Like if they have a sidewalk going by their business, to make sure that sidewalk has some illumination. So if people are walking up and down and it's dark, there's more light. And the final one, and probably the hardest thing to do, and Cindy's going to take care of this one, is to contact the Department of Transportation and see how complicated it would be to maybe the main crosswalk by Schoolhouse to have a light. Not a stoplight, but those lights that blink when people want to cross?
Yeah, I
Like
was
at
in
the bike
Plymouth.
trails.
I was in Plymouth, and
Yeah.
there's actually a pedestrian-controlled
Yes.
thing that you can press when you're crossing,
Right.
and it will blink.
Yeah. And so, there's like 6 different sidewalks down that road, but maybe pick that main sidewalk, and maybe the state might be interested in providing that, because
And
it's
that would be strictly for safety reasons.
strictly for safety, you know, to slow people down, to allow pedestrians to get across the road, particularly at night. Well, you know, it's great that the businesses are doing well and they have after hours, you know, and all of that, but you got people coming out of the bars, you know, they're maybe not paying much attention, and, you know, so brighter, better illumination, and maybe a light, you know, a light at least one of the crosswalks to help that. So we talked about that, and then we talked about charging stations. Now, it turns out that these people approached Cindy, and what these people are is they're a consulting company. They don't do the work. They find the people to do the work.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And they're soup to nuts. They handle everything, including, you know, working with Eversource, making sure that any grant money that we're eligible for, they will ferret that out and find it. Right now, we're at that weird place. We know there's tons of money in the pipeline, but none of that's available yet. You know, from the federal, you know, Inflation Reduction Act, which has basically nothing to do with inflation, but has a lot of climate stuff in it. There's money in the pipeline there. The state passed their own, you know, climate thing, and we know there's gonna be money in the pipeline there, but none of that's available yet. So we're kind of in this weird spot.
Transition.
But it looks like EFCON is kind of a middleman for
Exactly.
accessing.
That's
yeah.
what they do.
Yeah.
That's their job. They're to connect people who want chargers with the people that sell the chargers and get them.
But all that becomes more expensive. You have many actors.
Right. And
Everybody gets a little.
but here's and it's always a
What are
trade-off.
your thoughts?
Yeah, it's always a trade-off.
Well,
And this is just an example.
I understand.
Right.
I
Yeah.
understand. Ultimately, it will cost more because you're paying a middleman to run down all the little things.
Right.
So getting the permitting done and whatnot, getting the approvals,
Yep.
getting the grant money, all of that, that's what you're kind of paying them to do. And they're gonna have a list of vendors that install, you know, charging stations. That's the easy part. There's gonna be a million contractors, electrical contractors out
Right.
there. It doesn't matter if it's an EV station or if it's a generator or any one of the
Right.
other things. It's a contractor who installs electric equipment, and almost any of these guys will do that. You know, so these guys look like somebody that's just
Middleman.
you know, exactly,
Middleman.
that get out of our way, we'll be glad to help you on all of this. And we'll own it. Now, the question is, sometimes, just like when we did the transfer station, the solar farm down there, right? Somebody else did all of that work.
All of it.
And we get the benefits, but they're also making money off of it also, right?
No, it's a win-win.
It's a win-win.
Yeah.
That was a win-win. I don't know enough about this, whether or not there's a win-win.
So I can
this.
explain how they explained it, you
Okay.
know, and the other question that I don't have the answer to, and the selectmen have to tell us, is because we are municipal. I don't know if something like this would have to go out to bid. And I told these people that,
Good point.
you know, I can talk to you, you know,
Good point, yeah.
but I can't guarantee that I won't have to get 3 bids, you know, in the end.
Right.
Or we call it a pilot project and you don't, you know, have to get 3 bids. But that's something that we'll need to talk to the town about. So from what these guys have done this before. I mean, we would not be their first rodeo. I mean, they've done large installations and they've done smaller installations.
Here in the Cape?
Where'd they go in the Cape? They're working with, what's that bed and breakfast, Gray Pearl or the Pearl or, anyway, there's a hotel here that they're working on. Most of it's off Cape, some of it quite large, you know, like fleet size installations. But anyway, so the deal is, what the proposal would be is 4 charging stations by the Chamber building at Schoolhouse. Schoolhouse parking lot is managed by the
It doesn't really matter.
right, anyway, it's the athletic department, I mean, the
Are you
Park
talking
and
about
Rec.
down where the high school is?
No.
No.
I don't
No,
know. She
it's
said
in
schoolhouse.
Harwich
28.
Port. It's
Harwich Port,
Harwich
Route
Port.
28, Harwich Port.
You said- I thought
It's
it was
called,
schoolhouse.
Yeah.
Schoolhouse is the name of the parking lot. They call it Schoolhouse Parking Lot.
Yeah.
But it's in Harwich Port on Route 28. And it's right, you know where the Chamber of Commerce building is? Right there.
Yeah.
And so the proposal is to put 4 chargers there. Number 1, Eversource has to come in and tell you, is it possible? Like, is there enough power
Okay.
nearby to make it feasible?
Mhm.
It's downtown, I'm assuming there's plenty of power there.
Mhm.
Then you have to get in line for Eversource. Eversource controls the beginning of this process because they're the ones that have, there's a grant called Make Ready that Eversource administers. And
And that's government money.
it's government money, and so let's say it would cost $90,000 to put the electrical in for 4 chargers. Grant money would cover that.
And we're talking about superchargers, right?
It's level 2 chargers, yeah. Fast ones.
Yeah.
Which you would
that's
put
called
Talking
power.
about level 3, isn't it?
Level 2, Charlie.
Isn't it level 3?
Nope, level 2. I don't even know what level 3 is. So these are fast chargers. These are ones that can charge in like an hour. Anyway, the choice of charger is another whole thing. So there's called Make Ready is a grant program administered by Eversource that covers the cost of the power coming from the poles out to your charging station,
So,
which would include the trenching and the running of the wires.
so it's all the
and
preparation.
all the preparation. Then you have to pick a type of charger that you want. As you said, Glenn, there is a plethora of stuff out there. These people are not married to any particular,
Fast is the key,
yeah,
because if you put yourself in the shoes of the owner of the car,
right.
fast.
right, yeah. And fast for electrical is like an hour,
No, less. A supercharger can be 25 minutes.
Right.
Wow.
But we'll see, and whether we put,
But the location is excellent because people can go, shopping.
exactly, and that
Yeah,
was,
it's
that
very
was why the
central.
Chamber of Commerce is interested. Because the Chamber of Commerce wants people to, it's called dwell time, apparently that's
Of course.
that's a technical
They will
term.
roam around.
Dwell time, so when you're talking about chargers, you're talking about how long that charger is hooked up is your dwell time. And so they want the dwell time not to be lost time for anybody, including the person trying to charge their car. So if they can go shopping or go out to eat and come back and they're done, off they go. That's good for business.
Yeah.
So the chamber is interested in it.
And 4 could be very little, very few.
Well,
four
it
is
really,
nothing.
really depends. Here's our.
Well, in the summer, yeah. I mean, it's like
These people
taking.
also do the statistics, like they have programs and things that sort of look at,
Yeah.
like
The
residency time, like how like
The
we don't
needs,
have
yeah.
any, but they can look at the ones around us and how often are they used, how long are they used, that type of thing, and that's available. Once the chargers are installed, and again, that would require, somebody has to pay for those chargers.
Of course.
That's where it gets tricky. It's like, there's probably going to be money available. We don't know where that money is at this moment in time. But here's the trick. If you want to get these things done as quickly as possible, we need to be ready for the spring town meeting. We need a warrant article.
Well, yeah,
So
and
we
that's
need
like
to- it's-
February.
Here's,
Well, help me with that technicality, a warrant article.
Okay, if we
That's-
want the town to spend money, the
Okay.
town needs to give
That's-
permission.
That's called warrant
A
article.
warrant article, that's when you go to town meeting and they say, let's vote on this.
Yeah, okay.
Article.
Or
Town
don't.
money,
Yeah,
town money.
right.
So that next May, when we have the town meeting,
Yes.
it'll be on the agenda.
Right,
Yeah, but it
exactly.
has to be done like months earlier.
Right, because it has to go through finance committee and blah, 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 blah,
Yeah,
anyway.
Otherwise, we miss the boat.
Right,
Well,
Yeah.
you know what I'd recommend? Does it, well, I know that you just went to the selectmen's meeting and finished quickly, but I don't think that having EVCOG talk to the selectmen's, you know, at their meeting
No, no.
would be something you would do. But I would think that you would take this fellow and have him meet with the town manager or first select person.
he's coming back to meet with the rec department people because they manage the parking lot.
Okay?
He who?
Bates.
Bates.
Bates,
Luther
yeah.
Bates, okay.
And we also told him, Bates, that I said, this is all wonderful, we want to do something like this, you know, so yeah, but I need to see some
Numbers.
facts and figures and numbers. I need to see, as I told him, I said, if I'm going to ask the selectmen for an X number of dollars to go at the town meeting, once that's voted on,
That's
you
it.
can't tell me it's gonna cost $10,000 more.
Mhm.
That's all I got. You know, you know, you
mhm.
have to be absolutely certain that this is gonna cover the cost of what's going on. So anyways, so once you have the chargers, here's the interesting thing that I hadn't thought about too much. Once the charger's installed, it will be a pay-to-use charger. But the town can charge a few cents more per kilowatt hour than the electricity actually costs, and actually make a revenue stream out of it.
Wow.
Of course, like I'm sure Stop and Shop does in
Well,
Orleans.
that's all Tesla.
Yeah, well, but
Yeah.
still a supercharge.
Exactly. You know, so there is a possibility for the town to recoup
Yeah.
some of the money that they sink into these things.
Yeah.
Also, you know, it's good for business if you, as you know, you drive an electric car. If you were going on a vacation to Cape Cod, let's suppose you lived in Boston.
Of course.
And you were coming to Cape Cod for vacation,
Of course.
the first thing you're gonna find out is where the heck can you charge your car?
I mean, that would be a determinant for me to visit the
Exactly.
place.
If you say, oh, this town has plenty of charging stations, oh, that's fine, I'll go there. Or this hotel has charging stations, you know. But if you see nothing on your app,
You go somewhere else.
you go someplace else.
How many
Valerie,
hotels?
do you have any idea how much they cost each?
No, we will get that information soon. This is just preliminary stuff.
Just a ballpark, I mean, is it like 10,000 apiece or?
Well, he
50,000?
said that it would cost about 150,000 for the 4. But then from there you subtract 90,000 that Eversource would put in for the make-ready stuff, and then if there's other grants available, then, you know, that price gets knocked down. But here's the tricky part. And the town is used to this because the town did this for another project recently. I think it was a truck, a fire truck. 3 years ago, the fire department asked the town to encumber like some ridiculous amount of money, like $75,000 or something, for this truck. But they didn't buy it right away because they knew they could probably apply for grants and things. So that the town encumbered the money, but never paid that money.
So it set it aside.
They set it aside, but they didn't actually have to spend that money because the fire department continued to work on getting grants and stuff, and they chipped away at that $50,000 or $75,000, and in the end, the town really only paid like $30,000. But they had to encumber it
Just to make sure.
because that was the cost of the item.
Encumbered would mean commit.
Commit. You have to
Okay.
commit that money.
Right.
Would that have to be voted on at the
Town meeting.
Oh, yeah.
town meeting?
Yeah, so we have to, so the thing is, even if we have high hopes that we're gonna get grant money and it won't actually cost that much. We can't guarantee
Right.
that.
I would love to know
Yeah.
what is a competitive price, because I paid $3,000 to have my charger installed in my house. It's not a supercharger, but it's still
Right.
a charging
Right.
station.
Well, like I said, we'll get some money, we'll get some
Yeah.
information from these
Yeah.
people. Meanwhile, we can hunt around for other companies. I like the
other
fact that they.
other towns that have done this.
Right. Everybody does it a little bit differently. Yarmouth and Wellfleet I asked them, and they had a bad experience. I mean,
Wow.
And those were the ones that were, went
no,
through.
they were separate from the solar panels. I mean, these are.
Yeah, because I was
Yeah.
thinking of that.
Yeah.
Like the one in Wellfleet, you know, Dick Elkin was saying it's rusty, nobody uses it.
Wow.
It's not maintained. Another thing that these people provide, not for free, nothing's for free, is a maintenance service, you know, where they make sure that, and they make sure that you have the right amount of insurance. If somebody comes in and knocks it down,
Okay, yeah.
you've got to
sure.
get it replaced, and so that's not free
Sure.
either, you know. So there's a lot of, you know, once you commit to having them, particularly if they're municipal,
Yes.
Yeah.
you have to maintain them, you know, you're,
Yeah, think of tons of things.
you
yeah.
got, you know, it's not just one and done, you know, they're in and you can forget about them.
I have a question. Several meetings ago, we started talking about, I think it was when Julie was here, we were talking about grants
Mm-hmm.
that are available through the state.
Mm-hmm.
And we haven't really gotten more information than that. But how would that fit in with,
Well, there are grants for electric cars, there are grants for electric, I sent you, this afternoon, I talked to Cape Light Compact, and Mariel from Cape Light Compact sent me an email with some links on it for grants. I forwarded that to you guys.
Yeah, I saw it.
Click on those links and look at them.
okay.
I saw
Um,
it, yeah. There it is.
And then,
I don't think
but-
they printed that.
What does CLC stand for?
Cape
Light
Compact.
Hello.
I was.
So anyway, so
Okay, I
these people are
didn't
gonna come
print that
back
out.
with some actual facts and figures.
Where are they gonna provide that to?
Pardon?
Where are they going to provide that to?
I guess the next meeting that we have, I mean,
I mean, they're gonna provide it to this meeting?
no, to the meeting that we're having with the, Chamber Recreation Department, and I will,
But who's setting that meeting up?
oh, Cindy,
Okay.
So the Chamber of Commerce will be setting up. the
right,
meeting.
right. Once we get that, then I'm gonna invite Cindy to come here to one of our meetings, and then we can sort of talk about, once we have something more tangible to talk about.
Sure.
But at least it's a first step, it's, if nothing else, these people can educate us on the process.
And does Cindy have a little bit of a municipal mentality thinking
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
of?
God.
Terrific,
Cindy's great,
Yeah.
terrific,
Yeah.
yeah.
And she's been in that position a good while.
yeah,
And
and
she
she's
knows
a
all the-
hard worker,
Yeah.
has a bazillion, she's connected to everybody,
Terrific.
you know.
And she shows up at every single Board of Selectmen meeting.
Yeah, she's very
Yeah.
conscientious.
Can I
Yeah.
just ask a
Yeah.
totally unrelated question?
Yeah.
Because when I was looking at this stuff from EvCon, I have a lot of difficulty with initialitis.
Yeah.
Okay? What is ROI evaluation?
Return on investment.
Okay, thank you. I mean, it's like, hello, not all of us are that
My
sophisticated.
wife's like that. She's an engineer, and at Thanksgiving, she throws out engineering terms. And I'm an engineer, I know what she's talking about.
Right.
But I'm looking at her from the other end of the table going, would you please explain to the other people that they, because you love to go down the acronym route, and half the table doesn't know what you're talking about.
I work for the federal government. We are all about acronyms.
Yeah. Getting back to the cost of
Okay.
the
Yeah.
chargers.
Thank you.
Okay, the charger is gonna be a set amount of money. And obviously with competition, they should wind up being similar in cost across the
Right.
different manufacturers.
Depending on the bells and whistles you pick.
Exactly. I don't think that those are gonna be a lot of money, but I do think that the Eversource part, because you're dealing with infrastructure, so more than likely, you're gonna be coming down off of a pole, and then in the parking lot, wherever they decide to place the chargers, they're gonna have to trench in that parking
Yep.
lot. And then whatever they trench through, there could be phone lines under, there could be a sewer line, whatever it is, in a way. It's that excavation, pouring the foundation, where you're gonna put the chargers, and you're gonna have conduit coming up out of that foundation. And if they don't run into any obstacles along the way, well, your prices might not be too much. But if you run into other, then that bumps up the
That's-
price. Pouring of concrete nowadays is gonna be pretty expensive, just because of diesel fuel and getting somebody to come pour the concrete for you. So,
Yeah.
you know, that's what adds to the
Well,
cost.
thank you for that explanation.
You know, but as far as the,
Because I don't know that world.
yeah, but as far as the charger's concerned,
Yeah,
it's gonna cost more than
X.
yours.
yeah,
Because yours, you know, you're
It's-
just hooking it right up to your panel in your
absolutely,
in your
absolutely,
house.
I'm aware of
This
that.
has to be designed so that if every charger is plugged in simultaneously, they
Mhm.
all get a charge.
Of
You know,
course,
so
yeah,
you
of
gotta
course.
have a lot of juice coming in
Absolutely.
to make these things
Yeah,
work.
and
on-
Eversource will tell you, you know,
Yes.
the odds are more than likely that there's enough power
Yeah,
there to be
yeah,
charging.
it's downtown.
For
yeah.
4 charging stations,
Yeah.
I don't think
Yeah.
that's necessarily gonna be a problem.
Right.
Absolutely.
And the thing, you know, that we have to sort of, that it's that push and pull of, we would love more,
Mhm.
but it's the cart and the horse. You know, we don't have that many people driving EVs. We will, we know we will.
I've noticed more.
Yeah, we know
Yeah.
we will,
Yeah.
but it's like, you know,
Gradual.
I
Yeah.
don't know how many hotel rooms there are in Harlem.
a lot.
I'm sure there are.
That would be a super
Sydney would be able to
interesting
tell you that
question.
exactly,
Well,
but,
So if somebody was at the Chamber of Commerce say, we have, I don't know, 1,500 rooms.
Right.
And in this day and age, if you're looking to have just a quarter of those people,
Yeah.
you know, are driving a vehicle that's
Right.
electric, then we're gonna have this many electric vehicles in town, and this is, I used to write justifications, and you got to kind of tell a great story when you get a justification.
Right, right.
Sometimes you read the justification, you feel a little dirty after you're doing it, you know, but generally
Yeah.
speaking, you know, the better story you have, the more,
right,
it's
right.
way easier to get it approved.
And I think we have a legitimate justification.
I
Oh,
think we
gosh,
do.
yes.
I mean, I think it's the right thing to do for the environment, you know, to try to get these things more visible and out there and in use. People need to walk by a parking lot and see cars plugged in.
Yeah.
They need to see that every day. They need to see that this is normal, that
Right.
people are doing this, that it's not like pie in the sky, that it's
Yeah.
actually happening now.
I have to say,
Yeah.
about a month and a half ago, I was at the Park and Ride, waiting to
Yep.
meet somebody, and the person was late. And there were 1 or 2 cars charging there. Now, I don't know if the car just sat there and was already fully charged, but they were sitting there a long time,
Yeah,
you know.
That's somebody could have just been shopping.
right.
It's, you know,
Right,
something
and
like
lost
that,
track of time, yeah,
lost
yeah.
track of time.
Yeah, there was no way to tell if the
Right.
car was
But that's,
charged.
that's fine. I mean,
Yeah.
those are things. So,
Yeah.
and just because we put 4 in now, that doesn't preclude us from putting
Adding more.
someplace else, you know? I mean, it's,
Absolutely. And
Stop and shop.
One thing that the selectmen, I hope, will love is that will bring business to town and income to town.
exactly. And ultimately, they will make a little money on selling the
that's-
electricity.
That's what I mean by income to
Yeah.
town, you know,
Yeah,
pennies.
Yeah, so that when you're talking about justification, you know, because they're all about the dollars and cents.
Always are.
And,
I mean, you gotta tell the good story, otherwise you never get it off the ground.
exactly, and that's what I told these people. So I will keep you posted.
Okay.
I
Valerie,
think,
We
yes,
ought to
Charlie?
have some charging stations at the beaches also.
Yeah, we're starting small, Charlie. We you know, I'd like to put them everywhere, but right now we need to find out what 4 is going to cost us, and you know, just take it from there. I think that we definitely don't have to stop at 4. We can definitely pursue more as grant money is available and as
And maybe whatever source says
right,
about that parking lot.
right,
Because maybe they would say 10. I mean,
right.
Yeah, and then if you went down to the beach, I don't know what you got for power down there. You might
Right,
spend
not
a
as
lot of
much.
money,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know, to get something
Yeah,
down there.
yeah, you don't know what you've got.
You don't know till you walk
Yeah.
down.
and that restaurant, what is that restaurant across from the health place out to Cape?
Oh,
Brax.
Brax.
Oh, Brax,
Yeah.
yeah.
They might be interested in getting a couple, you know, or
Yeah.
more than a couple.
Well,
Then
that whole area.
you're talking apples and oranges here, because we are talking municipal.
You're right, you're right.
If,
you're right,
if,
you're right.
if Brax wanted to do it, or Stop and Shop, or
Yeah.
whatever.
That's
then-
private.
Then you're talking private, and that's a whole
Absolutely.
separate pool of money, that's a whole separate.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But what about the whole harbor area, you know, the parking area?
Saquatucket, that's municipal. We could
Yeah.
put
Yeah.
them there, you
Yeah.
know?
Mhm.
That's right across the street from the marine, right?
Right, so
It's
the
ne-
Saquatucket
next door to
Harbor,
Brax.
Allen's Harbor, I mean, you know, that type of thing. And when you're talking about like Saquatucket Harbor, that was recently upgraded, and so I'm sure they have
Very
plenty of
nice.
power there,
Yeah.
you know? So, yes, I mean, this is first steps, baby steps, Charlie,
Yeah,
baby
yeah,
steps.
Yeah, true, okay.
All right, so we will keep you posted on that. Let's see.
That's wonderful. No, that's,
No, I think that's exciting.
It
You know,
is.
I think once we start getting some concrete numbers, and then we can be
It will take
better.
off.
We can be better advocates, you know,
Yeah,
because I don't want to go to the Board of Selectmen until
Yeah.
I have some really concrete
Of course.
evidence.
There is one other question that, you know, if you're gonna go to the board, I know I'd like the answer to. What kind do you drive?
A Tesla?
That's right. She drives a Tesla.
But these would be universal. We are not.
No, I understand.
Yeah.
But other people don't understand. So if you were to put 4 general purpose ones downtown, you know, they're gonna say, well, geez, I don't see any other vehicles. All I see are Teslas. And you're gonna say, no, that's not true, because Hyundai's starting to make a lot,
Yeah.
GM's made a commitment.
Oh, a
Ford's
lot of-
made a
Cadillac,
commitment,
yeah.
Cadillac
Yeah.
too, but you're not seeing a lot of them driving up and down the highway. You still, maybe Teslas are just more recognizable. because
Yes.
They're a little different looking.
Yes.
And
Right,
Chevy and
right.
Ford are trying to make them to look just like other, and Hyundai, like other regular cars, so
Yeah.
so they don't stand out. But somebody's gonna ask the question at a meeting, which is, well, geez, how does Tesla put in chargers?
Because they pay for it. See, the Stop and
That's right.
Shop ones in Orleans, Stop and Shop didn't pay for those. They had nothing to do with
Yeah.
Stop and Shop. All Stop and Shop did is gave them permission. They didn't ask for them.
Yeah.
Tesla just went in and did it.
That's right.
But then-
So
but-
I'm just saying that when you make your presentation, you need to be confident in that answer.
Right, yeah.
Because that's, they'll always ask that.
Yeah.
Oh, I see the Tesla truck, that's a different animal.
Yeah.
Tesla does it as part of a company initiative of Tesla,
Right.
and they do it for free, and they, you know,
Yeah.
so we're not gonna skin that cat.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
and that's why we're not even going down that road.
Right.
End of story.
but are those chargers just for Teslas?
Yes.
Yeah, that's, okay.
Tesla claims that they are going to start manufacturing, going to
Universal?
make their charging stations universal.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I think you
Yes.
can buy an adapter, like
Yeah,
if you
yeah,
don't
I'm
have
sure,
a
I'm
Tesla.
sure they are about to, or they
Yeah,
did it
yeah, they
already.
made an announcement.
Because if you look at charging options in the country, Tesla is all over.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure he wants to capture.
Other people, yeah.
Well, I don't know,
Absolutely.
he's gone to work for Twitter, he might forget about cars.
I don't think he's doing that
very-
well.
He's,
Yeah.
he's
Yeah,
very
yeah.
busy right now.
He sold $4 billion worth of Tesla stock just to help out with Twitter. So-
Yeah, no, that was a
Whatever, yeah.
stupid thing.
Well, we'll see.
But I think that because the industry is new, I think that eventually there will be universal chargers. I think
I'm
everybody's going to have to
sure.
get on board
I'm
because
sure.
if you want to sell an electric car, the person buying it has to feel confident they can go anywhere and
Well,
charge.
that's why Tesla did what it did.
Yeah.
Because without charging, it's
But you
nothing.
can't.
But he wanted to sell more cars.
Well,
Right.
Tesla did that because if you look at Apple, Apple always had different charging ports, right? in
But
their
now
phones.
Europe is making Apple have a universal charger.
Exactly,
Yeah.
so it's taken a long, long time, but Apple said, geez, you know, once we get loyal Apple customers, you know, they're okay having a different port than the rest of the world.
Oh,
And
that was
it-
the idea.
Well,
Loyalty.
everybody go back to Apple, it's a great business model for
Yeah.
Apple, and that's why they make so much money.
Until Europe.
And that's what Tesla did with their chargers, they went, we're gonna have ours different, because, you know, we're Tesla, we're at this high end, and people are more than happy to come and buy Teslas and not worry about everything else.
So selfish.
Well,
But anyway,
it's a business.
it's a new industry.
Selfish.
Everything's gonna, just like the cell phone industry was fairly new and everybody was coming up with their own idea of everything. It'll settle out. All right, so I already talked to you about the Cindy Williams thing. Joe Powers never got back to me, so I haven't talked to Joe Powers.
He came through my checkout table, but
Yeah.
I
Right,
didn't
so,
want to.
I mean, whatever.
Joe Powers, which bullet item is that on new business?
Right, under, last one under old business.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I never did meet with him.
Okay.
All right, but, sorry, I had skipped that one and had jumped on down to Cindy Williams.
Because,
So you gotta keep trying to get in touch with him?
Well, you know, I'm gonna pursue this, EvCon stuff first, so that I have something concrete to talk to him about.
And like you said, grab him from downstairs and bring him.
You know,
She said that she would go downstairs
Right.
and grab him.
but I will have to make an appointment like I have done in the past, you know, because if he says, I'll get back to you, that never happens. So I'll make an appointment.
Absolutely.
in
all right.
what century?
So I went, I was in the Council on Aging and I talked to Julie, because, you know, the newsletter for the Council on Aging had come out, and it just jarred my memory and said, oh, you know, we should be doing something with this. And so I talked to Julie and about a citizens energy seminars, you know, just open seminars, people just show up. I'd like to do them, you know, once a week for several weeks. I don't know how many weeks, that's up to us. I put together some very preliminary ideas, you know, of
that's what this is, okay.
what we might think about. This nothing is carved in stone at this point, but it's just something, talking points for us to think about. Now,
By the way, did you see the videos from Alcan?
I've seen a couple of them.
Because, for example, when some of your topics here touch on what he touches.
Right, and we could
So-
show the video, you know, if, you know,
So-
and have a discussion afterwards, you know, I mean, there's different formats that we could
Yeah.
use,
Yeah, invite people to watch the video. I'm always trying to promote them.
so the Council on Aging promotes their programming, in like 2-month blocks. And so if we want, we have to decide what block we want to be in so that it can get into the newsletter to get the advertising. So the next block will start in January. So it'll be January, February, and then there's March, April.
I would aim for March, April,
March,
simply.
April?
Simply because January, February, if the weather
Weather's
isn't
bad.
great, people aren't
But
gonna come.
that's perfect. So we
Yeah.
want the March,
Yeah,
April.
You're right. We are in kind of a dormant mental
Yeah.
state.
Right. So we could aim for the March, April.
Now, what is this, where we actually have a presentation at the community center?
Yep. Yeah.
No,
So,
at the Council on Aging,
Council on Aging.
which is separate.
Right.
It's,
But it's in the same building?
Same building.
yeah,
Okay,
but it's a
okay.
Yeah.
separate
Yeah.
entity.
And I went Council on Aging direction because we do have a high number of retired people, and they may be the ones that don't have as much background in this as maybe some of the younger folks.
And more time.
And more time to do it. Yeah. So it would be a daytime program. Again, because of people driving, and some people don't drive at night, and you know, blah blah blah.
They also have a van which can
Bring people.
bring people,
Yeah.
and they do that for the lunches. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So we would have to think about what day of the week do we think we would want to ask Julie about? What time of day?
Ask her for help.
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
is more likely to attract the kind of customers, quote unquote.
So
that
I'll
we're
make,
looking for.
then, so you're not married to any particular day or any particular time.
No, it's,
So I will talk with her
mhm.
and see what time frame she thinks would be a good time frame for us.
And she also has staff and volunteers that can help out with
Oh,
that.
yeah, absolutely. I take
Yeah.
ukulele lessons
That's
there. I do
fantastic.
all kinds of stuff there.
Oh, you
Yeah.
do?
What kind of lessons?
Ukulele.
You can.
I'm in a ukulele band.
You know who's really into ukuleles?
Who?
Who?
Beatles.
Really?
Who?
George Harrison.
George Harrison? Yeah.
George Harrison, his last few years, he was really into ukuleles. Tom Petty came to his house and they were just jamming,
Yeah.
and he takes them outside in the trunk of his car. He had like a dozen ukuleles in it.
Oh,
So
yeah.
he's giving a couple of ukuleles
Yeah,
to Tom
yeah.
Petty, you know, but
We have a lot of fun with
I
that.
know
Is that-
many
is that-
people who
We
play
go to
ukulele.
like the
Many
nurse
people.
like the nursing homes, and we do concerts for the people in the nursing homes.
Mhm.
We're going to play in the Turnip Festival this weekend.
Oh, in Eastham.
In Eastham.
Is that
I
Kathy?
unfortunately won't be able to go because
Is
my
that Kathy
husband's
Hatch?
going to be in the hospital. Yes,
Oh,
yeah, and
she's
we've
been
done
here.
we do.
Mhm.
We're going to be at the mall once a month in the winter. We're at the Hyannis Green every Monday night in the summer.
My goodness.
So we're,
oh yeah, there are a
Just
ton of groups.
yeah.
There's one in my church.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I know many people.
It is a hoot. And and why ukulele? Because it's so easy to learn. That's the key.
And portable and not
Small,
terribly
portable,
expensive.
easy
Yeah.
to learn, not that expensive. I mean, you can buy expensive ones, but you can get into it for cheap.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
anyway,
Yeah.
so I will talk to Julie. And if we're doing the March, April, that gives us some breathing room to really think this thing through. We also, so let's go through what I've already have here. So if you come up with other things, I can write them down. So I've tried to sort of chunk it out to start with electricity, because by March, people will be feeling the increased rates. They're about to double.
Yeah.
So, and I did not put in natural gas here because, I just didn't. I don't know if we should add it or
Can we do something about it? Nothing.
nothing, yeah. I mean, anything you would do to make your house more efficient for electricity would also make it more efficient for gas, so.
Of course.
All right, so under electricity, just a refresher on the grid system, like how do you get your electricity, where does it come from, how does it get here, and then going over a typical bill, because there's about 6 different charges on the bill, and not everybody understands what each of those little charges is for.
Like the delivery that you explained to me
The
last
delivery
time.
charge, the generation charge, the efficiency charge, there's a lot of stuff on the bill that people might not know. And then the right price, I suspect that there'll be a flurry of robocalls going out in January trying to entice people to switch their electric company to a quote-unquote cheaper option. You have to be very careful because some of these companies it's like a lost, they quote you a very low kilowatt per hour rate, but if you don't read the fine print, it's only good for 1 month, and then you're locked into this even higher rate afterwards. And if you want to leave, there's a charge, a penalty for leaving. Unfortunately, older people are the targets because they often get confused, and they'll give their account number over the phone to people, and then they'll get switched without them even knowing it. This happens all the time. So we can talk about that, and then just a general discussion on what's driving these price increases.
Well.
War in
simple.
Ukraine.
Absolutely. War in Ukraine.
Is a big one, and
The owner of the world.
yeah, and a couple other things, supply chain issues and blah blah blah. So that kind of would, and I didn't have any particular person in mind for this first seminar as far as a guest speaker. I thought that would be a good time for us to introduce ourselves as the Energy Committee, and maybe add into this list of things our intro and kind of what we do and who we are.
Right.
So, Valerie,
Yes.
I think we need to put some positive spin on this and talk about all the wind turbines they're putting up at Martha's Vineyard. and how
Did you?
eventually-
If you look at the draft I sent you, we'll get to that. All right, so that's seminar 1, and these only can be like an hour long, or people start to glaze over.
Absolutely. Not even an hour.
Yeah, we'll keep them
45 and 50 for questions.
exactly, perfect, right. And then the second one, I'm thinking about having somebody from Cape Light Compact, maybe Maggie Downey, come in and talk about the efficiency program, how to make your, what's available for your like insulation and weatherization and all of that, and how to pick energy efficient appliances and how to use your appliances better. For some of us that live alone, or only one of us, heating up your entire oven to cook your meal is not as efficient as getting one of those little air fryers and cooking it in that. I cook almost everything now in my air fryer.
Well, I have a toaster oven.
Or a toaster oven, or
Yeah.
something like that, because
Yeah.
heats up faster, cooks faster, and okay, my little air fryer can come up to temperature in like seconds.
How much?
My air fryer,
Yeah, 375?
400 in like
400.
a minute. That thing is up there.
Okay.
And it cooks fast. And my regular oven, it's an electric oven. I have a gas cooktop, but I have a regular electric oven. I'm waiting like 5 minutes for that thing to get up to 400.
Mine
That's a-
takes 20 minutes.
That's a lot of energy waiting.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, for Thanksgiving, I'll have to use a regular oven, but can't squeeze.
Get in there.
Turkey in. So anyway, so the second one, I'm thinking I'll have Maggie Downey or somebody from Cape Light Compact come and talk about how you can make your house more energy efficient. And then for the 3, this is climate change, and so maybe the Harwich Climate Action Committee would like to sort of be involved in this one. I put down topics, but we could have a panel discussion. We could show one of the videos, there's a lot of options for that one.
Okay.
And once I get the days and the times
Yeah.
nailed down with Julie, then we can start putting out,
Yeah.
asking guests,
Yeah.
if we can give them a specific date, to get them in here. And these don't have to be in this order either. These were just 4
No.
ideas that I came up with.
No, that's great.
And then solar energy, maybe talking about, getting Marie back from CVEC and talking about some of the solar projects that have been done in Harwich.
But something not like the presentation she gave us,
Oh,
because
no.
that was so boring and
Yeah.
so impenetrable. Something,
No, maybe just highlight some of the things.
yeah,
And-
something we can relate to.
Yeah, maybe highlight some of these things. And maybe by then, we'll have more information on charging and electric
Yeah.
cars.
Yeah.
And maybe you can talk about just being an electric car owner, just a regular person who owns an electric car.
A regular person.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of
Yeah,
people would want to talk to a regular person who owns an
Yeah, I
electric
would be
car.
happy to.
And
Because
just,
it has been a life-saving, changing experience with it. Well, not to have to go to the gas station, it's a dream.
that's amazing, right?
It's a dream.
Yeah. So anyway, so that, so think about that, because I think that for me, I've never owned an electric car, so I would love to hear your story, like how you got it, how you've managed to, have you ever been worried about running out, or, all those questions that people have,
Right,
you
right.
know?
No, zero anxiety,
Yeah.
ever.
Yeah. So, and then finally, this last seminar, I wanted to sort of broaden out, on the bigger scale. Megan Amsler from Cape and Island Self-Reliance, she's working very closely with Vineyard Wind, and also with Mass Maritime on training the workers who are going to work the.
Boy, how important.
You still there, Charlie?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Okay.
That's what I think we should be emphasizing, because that's a positive
Yeah.
input that's been a help to people.
Right. So I think that Megan, she talks in international conferences. I mean, she's
Wow.
a world-known expert on wind, And so I think for her to come in and talk about and I agree with you, Charlie, that's a very positive thing. This is what's happening. We are getting these huge wind farms that are going to be producing not just a little bit of energy, but a lot of energy.
And when will that be?
They already laid cables.
Yeah.
Vineyard Wind has already laid some
Is that
cables.
the one
up.
in Barnstable?
Yep.
Yeah.
And they've already started to do some of the physical parts of it. So anyway, I will get in touch with Julie then and nail down the dates and the times. You keep thinking about this, you know, and,
Okay.
you know, keep adding to it, you know, thinking about how we would want it to look.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I dealt with the people that provide the cable.
Oh, yeah?
Because I had a project where we had to run 10 miles of this stuff.
Yeah.
And the name of the company is Prismine. Well, anyways, I think it was in one of the presentations or attachments we got this afternoon, mentioned Prismine.
Yep, yeah.
And when we, well, mine was on land, but we also did installation, you know, between Long Island and Connecticut. And they have got a special boat that they use that,
Wow.
that you're booking it years in advance, because when you're laying it, you don't do it in a day. It takes a long time, plus it comes from Finland, you know, and there's only one of them, so all these people that want these projects. But anyways, one of the things I read in the presentation that got sent today was that they're looking at putting in a new facility to build this cable in Somerset.
Yeah, I mean, jobs,
Which is
jobs,
huge.
jobs. You know?
It's
Wow.
huge, because most of the stuff that we were buying, we were getting it from overseas.
Right, because you
Wow.
couldn't get it here. Yeah.
So now that they're, and that's a sales pitch too, is that now we're buying US product. Now granted, it's not necessarily a US company, but you still, you know,
Yeah.
putting American people to work and fabricating this cable.
So I think, you know, by ending, you know, sort of starting with your own little electric bill and talking
Going
more
out.
about here, but ending with a much bigger sort of picture of still Cape Cod, but a bigger
Yeah.
picture.
I still remember hearing Nate Mayo talking about Vineyard Wind before it was even approved.
Yep,
And I think it's just amazing
yep.
to.
Well, we all suffered PTSD from
Oh, yeah.
the one in Nantucket Sound.
Yeah.
Then we did recover with some counseling and some help.
Wasn't Liz Argo involved with that? Yeah?
Yeah, I think so.
In,
yeah.
in some way, shape,
Yeah,
or form,
But
yeah.
anyway, we have moved on, and so good. So
That's
yes.
great. That's great. That's wonderful.
So I think that when on this education for outreach of climate change and mitigation, I think in our climate change seminar we can talk about those things. You know, so be thinking about. With your group, the climate action group, you know, you've probably got great ideas about that. And again, it's a good way for the climate action people to kind of get a public face and, you know, so people will understand that there's people out there working on this. And you can join too, you know.
Yeah, and it might be helpful, I don't know, but to have, what's the name of the woman who does the overall is it Janet Williams? Who does,
Can? C-A-N?
yeah,
Yeah,
who does the
Janet-
Cape Wide?
Yeah,
That's Janet Williams, okay.
Absolutely, can.
Okay.
Yeah.
So her name's Janet Williams?
Yeah.
Yeah, she's phenomenal.
Okay, so-
Absolutely phenomenal.
So
Yeah,
when
and
when I get these, when we have dates, let's ask her if she's free to
Oh, yeah.
do
Because
something like that.
she's got the big picture.
Yep.
Yeah,
Which-
she has a monthly meeting for all the climate
Cans.
change networks
Mhm.
in Cape Cod.
Oh, cool, yeah,
She's connecting everybody because
And-
the idea is to learn from one another
yep,
and
Right.
synergy.
And she's also connected with the collaborative,
yes.
so,
Do you know how the Cape Cod Collaborative is financed?
No, I don't know much about the Cape Cod Collaborative.
I think it's donations.
Yeah, I mean, I know about APCC and I know about the Cape Cod Commission, you know, I'm pretty familiar with those organizations, I just don't know much about the collaborative.
Yeah, the well, I mean, Rich Delaney is the first paid staff member, and he's part-time exec direct.
Yeah, and he used to, or maybe still is involved with APCC.
I don't know about that. He was with
Oh,
the.
Center for
no,
Coastal Studies.
Yeah,
Yeah, Center
yeah.
for Coastal Studies, yeah.
But
Yeah.
I know my congregation, we have a split program, and so every week, half
Yep.
our collection goes to a
Something else.
nonprofit.
Yeah.
And I have put in the collaborative last year and this year. So I think it's really donations.
Yep, yep.
That's
There's
what I would
also,
guess.
another person to think about is somebody from the Cape Cod Commission to talk about their, the Cape Climate Action
Yes,
Plan from the
yes,
Cape Cod
because they have
Commission.
such a grasp
Right,
of the Cape.
right. And they have a huge, and here's the thing, I don't want to be cynical, but they spent a lot of time, and they had focus groups, and I even was part of a focus group for them.
Yeah.
And you go on their website, it is a very detailed plan.
Yes.
Mhm.
But I'm not sure how it's all gonna happen, it's like.
I hear you, yeah.
It's a very detailed plan, but it's like, how do we do it? Like,
It's-
who pays?
Implementation.
Yeah, implementation, I think
Yeah.
is, but anyway, it's new, so,
Yeah,
Anyway.
Erin Perry might be.
yeah. So we'll be
Yeah.
thinking of people,
So what do you want me to put down for minutes for educational outreach? What is it?
that we're gonna continue to work on our citizens' energy seminars as part of our outreach.
I like that.
What is it, citizen seminars?
Yeah, citizens' energy
seminars.
seminars. And I have not, to be honest with you, I haven't been able to look any further into community solar at this point.
Mhm.
I did talk to Lindsay over at Cape and Island Self-Reliance. They manage several community solar plans. And they don't have any new opportunities. They also are looking for more opportunities for community solar. So that's, I will keep my ear to the ground, but,
Who did you talk to?
if you haven't, what do you heat your house with?
Natural gas.
There's another organization on the Cape, it's called Cape and Island Self-Reliance. And they're a nonprofit. They've been around, they've been on the Cape for well over 30 years, probably coming up on 40 now.
Wow.
And their reason for existence is citizen energy education and help. You can go to their website. If you just Google Cape and Island Self-Reliance, it'll take you to their website. They do many things. They do education. They have an oil co-op. Not that they're promoting oil, but they're trying to help people get the best price they can. But they also help people select heat pumps. They advise people on solar installations. Like, let's suppose you want to put solar and you don't know anything about it. You can make an appointment and they'll go in, and because they're not connected with any organization or any company, they're pretty neutral on brands and that type of thing, and can give you some, pretty good information. So anyway,
But nothing to report for this month, but.
no. But one of the things they do for their members, the people who join Cape and Island Self-Reliance, is one of the things you can do is sign up for this community solar. And what that is a private company, solar development company, looks for land to develop a solar farm. They are looking to get the recs and the tax credits and all of that cool stuff.
That's the way they make their money.
But now they gotta sell the electricity. And so they sell it to whoever they can find, and what Self-Reliance has done is they have been sort of the broker. So let's suppose I just created a big wind farm, and so I can go to Self-Reliance and say I have X number of kilowatts that I need to offload. And so they can connect that electricity with people. Like, as a member, you can sign up and you can get a little bit of that.
Like Max Sec.
Yeah, and so your electric bill will come down a little bit because you're part of this community solar, that's like a co-op type of thing. So, I'd kind of like to see one in Harwich. We have that as of right site on Queen Anne, that's a part of land that cannot be developed for anything but renewable energy.
Where is that again?
It's off of Queen, I would have to look at a map to tell you exactly. It's not too far from the dump.
Okay.
I'm confused, you know, because I sell my extra kilowatts to Mass Sec. They auction them and give me money.
Those are the RECs.
Yeah,
Yeah, not the electricity.
but it's still electricity.
No, the
What's the
renewable
difference?
energy credits are a whole separate market
Oh.
from the actual like electrons that you're producing on your roof. And renewable energy credits are,
Because of the agreement between me
Right, and that-
and the state?
Is that more financial?
yes, the RECs are just on the money side, and that money is out of a big pool, and what they're paying you basically to develop solar, you know, so they're trying to develop solar in
Yeah,
Massachusetts,
it's an
and so.
incentive,
Right, it's incentives, and so and that's government money,
yeah.
and so,
But still, I'm giving them kilowatts that they
You're not-
auction.
they're auctioning your RECs, they're not auctioning your kilowatts.
There is
You're-
my confusion,
Yeah,
maybe?
you're using electricity in your house, and you said the extra's going to your daughter, right?
Yeah.
All right, so that's where the electricity is going.
Mm.
Nobody's auctioning that, you're using it all. But the RECs get auctioned.
Yes.
When I used to work at a power plant, we had what's called credits and allowances. So if you're trying to meet a goal of reducing emissions of, when I used to work there, and that's 25 years ago, NOx, nitrous oxides, and sulfur dioxide, if you couldn't reduce it yourself, then you would buy a credit or an allowance from a company that was reducing it on their end. And we might be paying a lot of money for that, but then, you know, we met our responsibility to reduce emissions by a certain amount, and we didn't do it right at the plant, we were doing it by paying for somebody else to do it.
Right, that's what renewable energy credits are, yeah.
And that's what your credits.
Oh, okay.
So anyway, so these big like solar farm developers will get money back in those RECs, as long as those programs continue, because they're government funded, and so, you know, once renewable energy is like mainstream and no longer
Yeah, yeah.
new,
No more incentive.
no more incentives, you
Of
know,
course.
those things will fall by the way, but,
Of course.
you know,
Isn't there a solar farm in Brewster?
I think every town has one now.
But us.
Yeah. Oh, we do. The dump. We have a huge one at the dump.
Oh, I know, but I meant the ones that are not connected to the town.
Oh, I have no idea. Yeah. I
I
think
know 'cause-
everybody has one on the dump now.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Definitely.
Okay, and we haven't done anything with this last bullet point either, this community solar, as I said, I haven't looked into that yet. And I think we're kind of stuck on these municipal buildings, like the library and the community center. I think we're stuck in that we kind of have to wait for CVEC to get ramped back up again, you know, because that's going to be the source of how we get that done here in Harwich, because of the cost. Does anybody have anything else they want to talk about today?
Not me.
Are you good, Charlie?
Yep, I'm fine.
Okay. How's North Carolina? You feeling the hurricane yet?
Which one?
No, it's cloudy down here. It's
Strong in
about
Florida.
68 degrees, but it hasn't come yet, no.
Yeah. You'll probably just get a lot of rain. It's going to be here by Friday, I think. Friday night into Saturday.
Tomorrow?
We're supposed to get rain starting about 9 o'clock tonight.
Yeah, we won't get it, like I said, we won't get it till Friday night.
Yeah.
And we're getting mostly wind that they're worried about, the rain is only an inch, but possibly 45.
Yeah, out in Western Mass, they're getting a lot of rain,
Yeah.
not here. All right, Charlie, meeting is going to adjourn at 4:10.